Hello, welcome to Rodeo Management System Demo, Chapter 12 on System Settings. It may seem a little odd to be talking about system settings 12 chapters into the demo, but when we set up your RMS account, we will work with you through our onboarding process to get all the proper settings in place. As a result, you will likely only need to access these system settings if you need to make changes in the way you run your rodeos or manage your memberships. We will start with the settings found under Settings, System Settings. There are a number of other settings throughout Rodeo Management System that we have covered in other chapters, so we will only cover in this chapter those that we haven't mentioned yet and those that are included here. So we have some pretty basic settings for your account to start off with. The email address, and this is the default email address where all of the entry notifications, payments, and that sort of thing will be sent. This is what is used by default. You can also set a different email address if you wish, or just leave this blank, and that would be used specifically for rodeo entry notifications only. Again, if not set, then the above will be used. Another setting here, you can turn off the sending of rodeo entry email notifications to members by checking this box. When this is usually used is if you are in testing mode and you only want to have these notifications sent to your admin email address or your notification email. So in most cases, this will be not checked. If you are taking payments online, whether it's entry payments or member sign-up payments, membership payments, fines, anything like that, you need to put your PayPal email address here. We don't need any other login information other than your PayPal email. There are some settings that you will need to set within your PayPal account, and you'll find those if you go to the dashboard and you go to the user guide, and down near the bottom there will be something called instant payment notification settings, which will need to be set if you're using PayPal. Your office phone number would be placed here, your mailing address, and now we start getting into some of the settings used during rodeos, during payouts, that type of thing. The admin fee percentage is the percent that the association retains when calculating payouts. So after the gross purse is calculated from entry fees and any added money for that event, some associations will then deduct an admin fee percentage that stays with the association. The convenience fee is a fee, either an amount or a percentage that is charged for each transaction normally to offset the charges that the association will incur when using something such as PayPal. If you want to allow your members to pay online, you would choose yes. No would simply require that they would have to pay you directly, either by phoning into the office or mailing a check or bringing their rodeo fees to the rodeo. This would turn on member payments such as new memberships, membership renewals, and fines. So you can have online online entry, but not membership payments. Of course, it can be the other way around as well. Most who are accepting online payments will take both. Display entry fees is used when someone is not taking online payments, but they do wish to show the entry fees anyways. So in that case, usually the online payment is set to no, and this will show the members what it is they need to pay to the association. We'll just switch that back. Receipts totals only. What this does is it amalgamates the fees owed for any particular event if it is set to yes. So it will combine the entry fee, any per event fees, such as say a barrel racing timer fee, or say stock fees, or any other fees associated with a specific event. It will combine those into one value on the receipt, while as leaving this set as no, which is the default, will show all of that detail. Paid memberships, if your association charges membership fee, this should be set to yes. Otherwise, set it to no, and it will not require a member to renew their membership in order to be eligible to enter a rodeo. Show roles on new member form. There are a number of roles that can be shown, such as judges, or flagmen, or even rodeo clowns, many other roles that some associations will show the list so that their members can sign up for some of these roles. Typically, these are used on especially non-competing member types. Some associations, such as many junior or high school associations, will ask their members to provide the jacket size on the new member form. If you don't need this information, simply turn this off. Same with social security number, or in Canada, the social insurance number. If you wish your members to provide this information, then turn it on. Otherwise, it can be turned off. If you're offering a family membership so that multiple members can be renewed under the same membership at typically a lower price than if paid individually, then the family membership type ID, which is found under members, manage member types and fees, should be entered here, and we can help you get that set up. Family memberships can be a little bit confusing, so we can help you sort that out if needed. Allow new member on entry. So if this is set to yes, then it will allow a new member, that is one that is not already in your membership database, to fill out their membership form, go straight to a rodeo entry, fill out the rodeo entry, and then the fees, the membership fees and the rodeo entry fees, will be payable in one transaction. If you don't wish to have this option available, we just leave this as no. Charge new member fees on entry. If set to yes, this is an option that is similar to the above, and it will charge new member fees that have not yet been collected during the new member's first rodeo entry. So if you have this turned off and a new member wants to enter a rodeo, it will actually put that as a line item in the fees owed for the entry fees. The season end date, this can be used for the end of a membership renewal period. If it is not, if there is no date placed here, then the system will default to a calendar year. The new membership deadline is the date by which membership renewals must be submitted, otherwise late fees will be applied. So if you use the membership deadline, then this means that there will be a late fee, and this is where you would enter the amount of the late fee, and you can decide whether that late fee applies to new memberships only, to renewals only, or to both. So will you allow renewal without payment? This allows them to extend their membership term without requiring payment at that time, which means that the onus will be on the association to collect that directly from the member. Early renewals, this is a way to allow members to renew before the start of the next calendar year, but the renewal itself is processed as if the renewal was for January 1st for the next season. So this is used when rodeo associations will sometimes have, let's say, a rodeo in November that is for next year's season. So if you want to hide your slack performances on the entry form, you can set that to hide, and it will not allow a member to select the Slack performance during rodeo entry. That same member may be placed in the Slack at a later time, but some associations will only allow you to select one of the actual performances as your preferences. Number of buddies and number of juniors on the entry form, you can set this as needed. You can set it to 0, and only the lead entrant and their team partners could be entered on an entry form. You could set it to 2 or any number really. If you don't want to allow, if you don't have a junior membership type and you don't want to allow that, leave that at 0. The team roping and ribbon roping partner, you can select which one of these is displayed first in public reports, and typically it's the header shown first, followed by the heeler, and for ribbon roping it's the roper followed by the runner. If for some reason your association wants to show those the other way around, then the options are here. We'll set those to the standard. Do you want to include non-lead rodeos in your rodeo count? If you want to exclude that so that only rodeo participation in your association's lead rodeos are counted, then you would not allow non-lead rodeos. So these non-lead rodeos would be those rodeos which are hosted by another association, but you co-sanction your members' attendance. Show lead and non-lead rodeo counts. If it is turned to yes, will show 2 numbers in the season standings, and one will obviously be lead rodeos, that is your association, and also non-lead rodeos, or those that you co-sanction as attended by your members. Hide rodeo counts. If you just don't want to show any of those, you just hide them. Otherwise, leave them as a default, which is no. Include vet med out in rodeo count. Most, as a default, would not include them, but some do. Include ground money in season standings. Depending on your rules, this can be set to yes or no. Same with day money. If you calculate such a thing, this can be yes or no. Include finals rodeo results in season standings. Most will compete in rodeos over the season to go to the finals, which are not included, but some do include the finals rodeo in their standings. The first place points for associations that award points in addition to winning dollars, or as some junior associations will do, they only award points. You set the number of points that the first place finisher will receive, and then points decrement is the change in points for each successive placing after that. So in this case, 8 points would be awarded to first place, -1, 7 for second place, -1 is 6 for third place, etc. Use points for standings. If you say yes, then these standings points would be based on these standings. If no, then it's total winnings which are used. For displaying on the rodeo results page, you can choose to display dollars and points, dollars only, or points only. Do you want to show all entrants in the rodeo results? The default would be no, and then it would only be those that placed. In the case of dollars, those that won money. In the case of points, those that were awarded points. You can choose to have the rodeo results page refresh automatically. So if you have people who are watching your rodeo results page remotely, this will refresh the page for those that are viewing it every 30 seconds, or every 120 seconds, would be every 2 minutes. So it will automatically refresh and update any scoring that has been submitted on those pages. If you don't want this to be in effect, then simply set it as 0. For standings, similar to results, you can choose to show dollars only, points only, or dollars and points. You can choose how many members to show in the standings. You could set it to show virtually everybody. You could set it to show only the top 10, top 20. That depends on how many you wish to display. Round results dollars, if set to yes, then a winning such as $265.17 would simply be shown as 265. Usually it shows the exact calculation of dollars and cents, so setting yes would override the default. Show day sheets, so you can choose whether you'd show a link to the day sheets on the rodeo schedule. Some associations don't want to use day sheets, some do, so simply the option to have them display on the rodeo schedule is here. Some associations will want to hide the member numbers. They just want to go with names, so they would choose yes. The default is no. Hide last year's locals in member list. So this is a way that associations can manage their member database by telling it to not show a particular membership type in the member list. So if they don't show the locals, then it would be any local that would have registered last year is not going to be shown in the member list, which just shortens the list and makes it easier for them to manage. There is a special list that can be shown on the season standings report, which shows the email list for quick reference or for creating a email message for the admin, and this will only show on the admin side. So this is usually used when getting close to season finals and wanting to be able to send out a list to invite members to the finals. And you can choose per event how many finalists to show. If this is set to 0, then that portion of the report simply doesn't show. And you can also set the minimum number of rodeos a finalist must compete in to qualify for this list. And again, when this option is in use, it is displayed at the top of the season standings, and only a logged in admin can see this list, so members will never see this. You can set a default entry time, default time when entries will open online. You can set a default time for entries to close. So this would be 10 a.m. This would be 11 p.m. You can set the number of minutes after entry time has closed. So whatever the entry day is at that time, and then the number of minutes past that time that you would close payments. So anything greater than 0 is used here. Some associations will require that all of their entries are paid, say within 1 day, which is 24 hours. So that would be 1440, or they may require within 1 hour, 60 minutes. And then you can enter a message here that is displayed to anybody who is trying to make a payment, but this time has passed. Then they will see whatever message you put in here that is shown to them. So how the next member number is assigned to the next member that's registered, what will their number be? You can set this to be based on the max. So whatever the maximum current number is, let's say it's 1503, the next member will be 1504, or you can set it to next, and so it will find the next available number within the list. So if for some reason there is a gap in the numbers sequence, then it will use that next available list. You can set a password for the online judges cards, and this is available. You would give this only to the judges, and this is a separate password other than any passwords that you have set in user profiles. You can choose to have completed rodeos moved to the bottom of the rodeo schedule list so that any current upcoming rodeos are seen first on the list. So once a rodeo has closed, if you want it to move to the bottom of the list 3 days after that rodeo has been completed, then this will move everything to the bottom of the list, starting a new list of completed rodeos, and at the top will be current rodeos. So Partner Association 1 through 5, these are other rodeo associations that you would typically co-sanction rodeos with. So you would put in their rodeo association abbreviation here. And then within your membership types, you would have a member type dedicated to that association. So for example, we're partnering with the RMS Association, and we have a member type in here called RMS Association member. We'll go back to settings here and scroll down to that part there. Sorry, it's down the list of fairways, and we can select that RMS member type. So when you import members of that association into your membership database, then it would know which membership type to assign. And we will have a future chapter on managing co-approved rodeos or non-lead rodeos. So we'll be going into these settings in more detail there. So the draw priority, in some cases, associations will set it so that the highest priority member in the group defines the priority for the entire group, or it can default to the lowest, and that is according to the association rules. And then a locals go last setting means that all locals in the draw are going to run last when the draw generation occurs. The default here is that it is no, so it ignores this setting if it is set to no or if it is left blank. And when the draw generation occurs, it just treats locals as any other entry, and they may be placed anywhere in the order. You can upload your organization logo file. If we scroll back to the top of this area, you'll see we have our RMS demo logo here. So you can load up your own association logo file here. Just choose the file, choose it from your computer, and hit Save Logo, and it will now be in use within Rodeo Management System for your account. We will look next at the page top messages. And this is simply messages that appear at the top of the page for usually messages to members, giving some instructions or giving some guidance. And so we've just put in some fake text here. So at the entry form, page top message for the entry form, you can put in a generic message for the top of the results, rodeo results page, the standings page, the members page. And of course, these are all things that show up on the public side. On the member side, you can put your terms and conditions or your waiver into the system here, and it will ask them when it'll ask your members when they are entering a rodeo to check a box to agree to the waiver, and there will be a link that will allow them to view the waiver as well. And if you are using this field, then it will require them to check and agree to that waiver when they are entering a rodeo. You can place instructions after the entry payment. So when members are entering online and they have clicked the submit button and then the entry payment instructions appear, this information here can be displayed as well at the entry payment instruction point in the process. So if you have direct payment options or call into the office options or that type of thing, or Interact or Venmo payments, you can provide that instruction here as well. You can also add specific messages to the draw pages for a specific rodeo. So enter a message here and it will appear at the top of that rodeo's rodeo draw. Next, we will look at user profiles. As the admin, you can set a number of different user profiles. As the admin, as the super admin, you are the only one that can perform this particular function, but you can add new users, and you simply put in a name and a password. So we might want to call this the demo basic user, and we'll just enter a password there. And the role is basic, user, admin, or super. And again, if you set someone as a super, they will be able to do this as well. Each one of these user levels is increasing in the amount of functionality, the amount of menu choices that it has to offer, or that they have available. When you submit this, then that username and password you just entered can be used by anybody that you provide it to, or we can delete that from the system as well. Now, once you have these different user roles set up, you can actually do something which is to customize the admin menu for a role. And so we would go in, we would choose basic, and this would allow you to change what that basic user level has access to. And it starts off with the default. You can adjust this simply by clicking boxes and then saving. And that is our overview of Chapter 12, the system settings. And next up will be Chapter 13, where we take a look at the public side of the rodeo management system. We will see you at Chapter 13.